share them.
You should have let me know. I would have just brought my checkbook. We could have got that banged out. It's after 9 o'clock, you know.
Yeah, but I think cash is the way to go.
Oh, okay.
So they know we're not full of crap.
Well, we can just stop at my bank on the way through. You know, just get that knocked out.
We can stop at any bank and get the money. I got to.
The camera's rolling. You mean you have the master key?
The master key. I got a 9mm master key.
It's a 9.
Yeah, that's just jokes. I was like, yeah, those are jokes. I don't like. I mean, I never shot it. It's loaded though. I don't want to shoot it. I'm scared.
You never shot it?
Not my 9. Not the one I have.
You never shot your own gun?
I got a bunch of guns I've never shot. Where do I shoot them at? I live in city limits. Oh, no. I don't do it at range. I would, but there's not one convenient for me. Like, they're all out of town, or I don't have a membership to the gun club or whatever it is.
Well, you could do like we always did. Just go out on the back roads and
Yeah, I thought about that.
go to the lake and...
I tried to get other Sam to pull over. It might end up being his name already. Other Sam to pull over one day and let me shoot my gun on the side of the road. I had it, but I may or may not have been drinking, and he didn't let me.
Well, that's a smart choice.
No, dude, that's why I like having him around.
Yeah, that's by far the smartest.
There was this one time we're in my front yard, and the cop said somebody pulled over on Elm Street, and I was inebriated, and I was like, let's go see what's going on. He just put his hand up, stopped me, and said, James, you're drunk. I'm like, I don't know that I'm drunk, but
it's like you are in public and you are intoxicated.
Yeah. I told Jules that. She's like, hello, Sam.
That was definitely a smart move by far.
Yeah, the sensible one. He said, like, since he's pretty much straight edge, I mean, not like a lifestyle, he just really just doesn't drink or smoke or anything.
Yeah.
So, like, so he's been my default DD for so many years that he's just, like, always threatening one day to start drinking and just make me drive him around and stuff and stay sober.
For one day, you should have to be his DD all day long. If Sam chooses, I think, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, not me. Other Sam. My opinion is that on a day of your choosing, you should be allowed to just get as hammered as you want, and he should have to take care of you and drive you around all day long.
Well, see, the funny part is he don't even want to get hammered. I think he should just do it for the principle.
That's what I'm just saying. I mean, if it happens, or you know, if you just go do it. I mean, we can find something that's a lot of fun. That maybe not getting drunk, because I understand I don't like getting drunk necessarily. But there's many other ways to have a good time.
Yeah,
but he should have to take care of you, though.
I got him buzzed one time because, like, okay, so like I said, he's not into drinking, but he was curious about Jack Daniels, and this is like 2001, 2002. Just because Jack Daniels is Jack Daniels, it's kind of a premier whiskey with us and stuff. And he was just curious about it, and I was like, yeah, dude, you want to do a shot of Jack Daniels? Just say you've tried it. And he's like, yeah, sure. It's a shot. He's a big stout dude. Shot ain't gonna do nothing.
Right.
And I was like, great. So I grabbed a bottle of tequila and I poured a shot of tequila. Yeah, I know. And he remembers.
I mean, I'd rather have tequila.
So I pour him a shot of tequila, and he takes it. He's like, oh, and I was like, oh, dang. I was like, that was tequila. That wasn't Jack Daniels. My bad. And he's like, oh, whatever. I was like, you still want the Jack? And he's like, yeah, I still want to try it. I was like, okay, but here's the thing. I'm so full of crap. I was like, you can't chase tequila with Jack Daniels. I was like, you need a neutralizer like vodka.
Oh, you're
and he didn't know anything about drinking. He's just not part of that culture or whatever. So I was like, so here, do a quick shot of vodka. And he did it, and I was like, now do the shot of Jack Daniels. And maybe another. You want to balance it out. So, anyway, he got kind of buzzed, and we watched
I used to think you were a good friend. Man.
It all balances out, dude. It all evens out. I mean, the dude's literally punched me in the face before.
It sounds like you deserved it.
I don't know what came first, this or the punching in the face.
Well, it seems like it balanced out regardless.
Yeah, we were doing a backyard wrestling match, and he just got, it was a total work. And he just he was just fired up, dude. And then anyway, I just turned around, bam, right in the face, dude, dropped me. It sucked. I was so mad. I didn't even sell it. I was just laying there like, you jerk. But no, we used to beat up each other all the time. But anyway, we watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail that night, and I just remember it making me nervous how much he was laughing. Like, you know that part where the druids are like, oh, boom, and hit themselves? And dude, every time they go boom, he just back laughing. It was good stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna never try to get you drunk again, man, because I would hate to see Sam in like alcoholic rage or something.
Yeah, I don't think that would be.
I've seen him in a sober rage.
That would be.
That's scary.
Kind of terrifying, really.
Yeah.
Honestly, now that if I think about it, because he's a brute type of a guy. If he wanted to be
6'4".
when he wants to be. He's 6'4".
Yeah.
Jeez.
And also trained pro wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. I mean those.
Did I ever tell you the story of the dude that'll remain nameless for the purposes of this? That when I was promoting and booking shows, and the dude just pissed me off so bad. This guy, it was just a bad situation, and one of those 1%. 99% of the time everybody's cool. This is that 1% of the time. This dude was just. This dude was the 1% of the jerks. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Anyway, we got into it, and it was really. The dude just wouldn't stop arguing with me, and I finally kind of lost my cool on him and went off on him a little bit, and I was just mad, man. And then he was like walking around, all pissy and stuff. Well, turned out he had to work with Sam that night, and I didn't even tell Sam. I just looked at him. Sam was like, "Yeah." Boy, he went out there, and like that dude did not have to do 1 ounce of work, man. Every slam Sam gave him was 100% Sam. Lifting, talking about sandbags. It was like him lifting a big bag of sand. And then Sam,
I don't want it. You're getting it.
Yeah, it was kind of like the guy sucked in the ring anyway. He was only there because of politics and stuff. So like, and he couldn't sell anyway. Like Sam goes for his patented leg drop, which Sam just has this like great leg drop. That he's been praised for and stuff, but like he starts to do it, and then he goes over and climbs on the second rope. Which you're already talking about a big dude. As soon as he did that, I was like, yeah. Wow. Now, with that said, Sam protected the guy from any kind of injury. He just didn't make it comfortable.
No, I understand.
He's total pro in the ring. He was never going to go, we don't go into business for ourselves. But it was enough that the guy knew he'd been in a match, We'll just say it was kind of stiff, kind of the old Von Erich style, you know what I mean? We'll say the crowd was like, yeah, that's good stuff. And that dude, so help me, never came back. Never came back. I even booked him for the next month. I hadn't booked him, though, he'd made me mad. I was just trying to be the bigger person in that aspect.
Right.
No, he didn't come back. And then we're doing a show the same night as another company that we didn't rival with them. We just had to share talent sometimes. So there was a little bit of a give and take and a little bit of like, oh man, they got him booked, da-da-da. But like that dude checks in there. I don't know if that was supposed to be some like big smite to me or something. I don't know. I hadn't seen him since though, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm sure if he ever wants a rematch, Sam will oblige him. Me and Sam, we used to think that wrestling was a complete shoot. We thought it was real deal, right? I mean, for way too long. Right. I won't even tell you how long. Too long. Basically until we did training. I was like, what? We're not really gonna fight, But so we would wrestle each other, but we wouldn't. We knew if we were gonna be pro wrestlers, we had to do power bombs and pile drivers and sharpshooters and all that. So we would fight each other, like legit wrestle, and usually wrestling turns into a bunch of headlocks and stuff like that, But we would just thought you had to be good enough that you could just power bomb somebody. That you had to figure out how to do. We do all these awkward slams, dude. But we got pretty decent at it, man. I'm pretty sure that I could actually. Well, I mean, you go to power bomb somebody and they grab your ankles, and it's like crap. How did you know that? It's like that's just instinct. Don't pick me up. That's actually the counter for quite a few moves. Grab the ankles.
It's like no, we're not doing that.
If you try that, you will lose balance. Like, well, I'll be dipped. Pro wrestling, it's a weird world. It's funny when online people will be talking about pro wrestling and they'll talk about the gatekeepers that are the locker rooms are full of bullies and all this kind of stuff, and it's it's like yeah it's like, well, you can't we call them ribs in the industry, like pranks and stuff. It's like, no, you can't do that kind of stuff. You can't prank people and all that and make them feel bad and stuff. It's like, look, pro wrestling is not like anything else. You know what I mean? It is like it's a strange business that it's like where stuff that doesn't hurt, you pretend it hurts, and then if you're really hurt, you pretend that you're not hurt. You know? I mean, it's ridiculous. On paper, it's stupid. Like, I've thought that before, too. I was like, man, all my friends over here throwing themselves at the ground. You know? But it's like, it's so different like that. That's why you do have to test people. And you do have to kind of push them. Because you got to get the, crap don't float, and you got to get the crap out of the way. You know? And I mean, and it's the people, because you're not going to make it without having that thick skin. You know, people are like, well, this day and age, you don't have to have a thick skin, you know. It's like, in a lot of things you don't. Pro wrestling, though, you do. Because, once again, it's not like anything else. It's a strange business, but it's like any other form of entertainment or passion project. If you don't love it, it'll never work out for you. You might do it as a hobby or something, but you'll never make anything of it.
Well, as someone that grew up as a fan, and then now as an adult is a semi-casual fan, just being honest about it, you know, I appreciate it, I respect it, and especially having you as a friend and having seen this side of it, the production side of it, and I get it, and I like characters, I like storylines, and it's fun to watch. I just don't. It's not in my time nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, the business moves on. I don't love the product now, and that's okay. You know, I'm not a bitter vet or bitter old guy about it. Like, well, Martyr, this is how you do this. Because growing up, that was the same thing I would get. You know, this is the Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart crap. This ain't the Von Erichs. You know, and, so that's fine. And then the people before that are like, this isn't Lou Thez. You know, but
it's kind of like, for me, I can say that the Raw Nitro was what I grew up in, right? I remember as, in junior high, high school, that time. And so, don't get me wrong, I learned to appreciate other wrestling, especially Impact, different things like that. You know what I mean? And so I get it, and so I see it as I can appreciate it for the show, and then I can appreciate it for its athleticism. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate that on all levels. And I think, for me, my opinion is I would rather see that more heart. I'd rather see someone that's, look, if you're going to go out there and you're going to do that, do it real. Don't half-heart it. Don't half it. Get out there and do your best. You know, I mean, that's what you're getting paid to do. Hopefully that's what your dream is. That's why you're there as an entertainer. You know, entertainment shouldn't just be a default for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Way.
And I feel like in today's age, to being an entertainer is just a default, especially in social media, YouTube, everything. You know, it's just, I could just be a YouTuber. You know, I could just do this, or I could just. No, we have people that these are their real dreams. You know, that have worked their asses off, and that are willing to do whatever it takes to get there. You know, and whenever you're standing in the way, I don't feel sorry for you. You know, it's like, if you can't cut it in the big leagues, then find someplace else.
Yeah, you know, I mean, figure out whatever you're doing, if it's a hobby for you, that's fine.
Yes.
But just don't expect more out of it than that.
Exactly.
You know, and don't get upset or jealous with people that take it to the next level of professionalism, you know. And really, I think all these things come down to desire, and everybody desires something. Most people desire wealth and fame. I mean, they just do, or they wouldn't mind having it. But honestly, if you get into whatever you get into, you got to get into it for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're just getting in it to be famous, to have money, go, if I don't know, it just doesn't, like, if that's all you want, that's all you'll try to get, and then all the other fundamentals and stuff you won't build up, and then you'll never achieve the other thing anyway. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I went blank on that one, but it was a really good thought. It was really deep, dude, and you should really appreciate it.
Well, it's like, as I consider myself a creative type, and so it's like, falling into that category, I see us as artists. You know, sure. I even see, like, people can make fun of me, or they can think this opinion or idea is stupid, But that dude that's in the pink spandex and the pink tights out there, that man could be an artist and he could be performing his craft and his art, or he could just be somebody just that was really athletic and is just doing something, and making money. It could be two different things. So, and that's up to that person's performance for you to judge. You know what I mean? That's where we get to judge that as consumers. And personally, as a consumer, I'd rather see someone that's going to give their all, knowing that they're giving their all, especially in today's world where we can look at somebody's backstory just like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so whenever you see stuff like that, I personally, I have a lot more respect for it.
And to interject, giving it your all, it isn't just about in the ring or on the stage, just giving it your all the time. Like making something your lifestyle and whatnot. I mean, like, to stay on the topic a little bit of wrestling, like, there's so many guys that I've seen that are willing to do anything to make it into wrestling. Anything. They'll go anywhere. They'll spend any amount of money on gear. They'll get trained. They'll do anything except for a push-up. Except for get in shape. It's like, dude, if you really you desire this so much, that's the one thing you have 100% control over. Gravity is free. You don't need a gym membership, and that's where it's like, okay, you're trying to live a fantasy. You're a hobbyist. I mean, because there's some people aren't meant to be big, no matter what. But there's a difference. You can see the difference in the people that actually.
Watch out! I think he's trying to turn up here. That's what caused that whole issue. Because his blinker's on. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
He's trying to turn a little early. What?
Yeah, that's what caused that whole finagle right there. Was he turned his blinker on and she was passing him and he like flipped out and
Yeah, Young County traffic. Yeah, I think it was a hog trap trailer.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Gotta look out for them hoggers, man. They're different.
I know they're like rodeo guys. Yeah, that's a different freaking breed.
I mean, God bless them though.
Yeah, thank God, dude.
These freaking hogs are no joke,
dude. Going back to the wrestling thing, I couldn't imagine attempting or even possibly thinking that you could make it as a wrestler without working out, without having a training regimen. I honestly, even in the management side of it, if you're getting in that ring, you need to have some sort of, unless there's just some health issue, you need to have some sort of physical experience, some sort of exercise, some sort of training, something. I mean, I get that there are certain circumstances with certain personalities that it works where the physical aspect of it isn't so much expected, but they should at least be aware and be able to perform and maneuver in that ring, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, dude, because also when it comes, a problem that happens with wrestling is some of these guys, especially the fantasy boys or whatever, they get into it. There's always an exception to the rule, and I think in general in society we focus too much on the exception than we do the actual rule.
Yes.
Yeah, and people want to say, well, and I've spoken on this a little bit before. Oh, Mick Foley, didn't look in shape. Freaking Road Dogg, he wasn't big and cut. I'm like, okay, well, there's two. Right. It's like, but there's a countless amount of other guys that look just like them that never made it. Why don't you focus looking more on like, okay, a guy, the bodybuilders types or the guys in good physique. Most of the guys that have made it look like them, look like that. But
at least exercise. Like you need to be a trainer. Like if you're going to be a professional wrestler, it's the same as if you're a professional freaking football player, basketball player, any of those things. Your athlete needs to have a training schedule. Your needs to be training constantly. That's your body is your machine there. That's your tool. I mean, that's what you're using. Why in the hell would you not want it in the best shape that you could get it? You may not be you may not turn out looking like The Rock. You may not look like Cena. You may not. You may wind up looking like Mick Foley. But at least you're exercising, and at least that's just what your body looks like. But at least you can run. At least you can roll around. At least you can do some stuff.
Yeah, and like also, I mean, look, here's the bottom. A big part of that people try to ignore. Some people really like seeing ripped guys. People that are attracted to males. Yes. So that does help sell tickets.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's a business. So if you got the guy that's dragging his girl to the show that she really doesn't care, there's that aspect. that maybe she doesn't mind or whatever, it makes it bearable, and guy or
sex sells.
Yeah,
sex does sell.
Well, I mean, even if you're like watching some, that's why game show hosts, news anchors, they're attractive people, but they keep their clothes on, and which is in a lot of ways wrestling is sometimes it kind of goes parallel with stripping. That's another topic. I'll say this though, kind of on topic of what we were talking about. Everything as far as chasing a dream or your desire and all that stuff, be it wrestling, be it podcasting, be it freaking musician, actor, it all looks so easy from our point of view. It really does. It looks easy, and you know what? I think most people could do a little of it. They could do a little acting. They could do a little bit of podcasting. They could make a comic book or write a story. It's like people have that ability. There's a lot of talented people out there, that could do that. But can they do the next one? And then can they do the next one? And when the fun part's done, when the easy part's done, can they do the work part?
That's whenever all the fun stuff is over and it's time to do the work of it.
Yeah.
Are you willing to put in the work?
Exactly, because that work is like the fuel that's going to drive your vehicle of that passion. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like actors that refuse to work the stage.
Oh,
that wouldn't do a crew job.
Right. Or,
it's like, who the blank do you think you are?
Well, just like with you with the podcast and stuff. Okay, you don't have somebody that edits all that together for you. You don't have somebody that goes through it all and makes sure stuff's everything checks out and things like that. That's not necessarily fun. It could be sometimes, but I'm sure sometimes it's just mundane. Like, oh man, I got to get this done. I have give myself a deadline. It can't just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit on that footage and hope somebody comes along and is like, hey, you have a bunch of footage I could edit together and make you a podcast?
I know, that's like, because like we're talking about the beginning stages, right? And so it's like, and then the same aspect like with the wrestling, if you're trying to get into it, you got to be willing to do all this stuff yourself first. That's how I see it. If you're rising up, if you're coming up, if you're not willing to go out there and put in the work yourself, it kind of ties back with that. We were talking about the other day about the whole college thing, It just ties into, people can look and see, all right, this guy put in this work. If like you want to be a professional in something and eventually you want someone to start buying your product, and you need to have a product that's marketable, and maybe you need to go to somebody else to help you market that. Well, if they look at you and they look at what you've done so far, they say, well, at least I know this guy can work. I know he's willing to do whatever it takes to get there,
Yeah, because there's a difference in doing nothing and doing something while you're doing nothing.
Yes.
That's like, find it, make it work, a lot of people, again, it's something that people miss about the successful folks is a lot of times, well, I don't know as much these days because I'm a little bit older, but at least in my day, when things were still black and white, like life before color was invented, like, people didn't just suddenly make it. You went through certain channels, and like most people that you would see in an entertainment light or whatever, they were something first. They came from somewhere else where they cut their teeth, or they worked on some project. Like, there could be this actor you never heard of, and then he comes out and he's on a show or whatever, you're like, oh great, this guy, he just came out of nowhere. Well, he didn't really come out of nowhere, did he? He was somewhere, and he went somewhere and he trained with his craft and he did performances and stuff. Like, I would say like 99%, I don't want to say 100% because I don't know, they went somewhere and people were there just like them, but those people fell off. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they didn't fall off. They kept going. And maybe even more talented people than them. I'm sure there are so many musicians out there that would be the biggest thing in the world, but we will never hear of them just because they didn't have that drive, or they weren't willing to whatever, put their vices to the side.
That's what's crazy is sometimes some of the people that produce some of the worst work, and they have extremely good drives. They're just not talented at what they choose to do. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I appreciate your drive, but you're not good at this. Right. There's something else out there that you're going to be freaking bad at. This is not it. So you need to refocus your energies on whatever this something else is. And I hope you get there one day. But it's like, this is not it. Holy jeez, let's not pull that trigger. We can wait.
Dude, people in Grand, their pacing is so strange.
I know, I get it.
Clusters and stragglers, you know, everybody either drives fast or slow. Like, man, when it rains a little bit, oh, forget about it. People act like it's like 8 feet of snow, and then you got everybody out there either driving like at a snail's pace, or you have people out there that are like, I've got to defeat this rain by driving crazy. Let them go. Since we're just chilling for a second.
Well, I'm Uncle Sam, and
Uncle
this
Sam.
is Random Ninja.
Randomus Ninjamus.
And this has been On the Road with the Scarecrow Hour.
There's the storage building. Anyway.